Hello friends, today we are discussing one of the major novelists of the Victorian age, Charles Dickens. Victorian novelist Charles Dickens was born in Portsmouth, Hampshire, England in 1812. He was the second of 8 children of John and Elizabeth Dickens. Dickens' father was a clerk in the Naval Pay Office while his mother had been in service to Lord Crewe. In 1824, Dickens' father was imprisoned for debt. The entire family, except Dickens, was sent to prison along with their father. Dickens was sent to work in a blacking warehouse, where he pasted labels on bottles for 6 shillings a week. When his family position improved, Dickens attended a school in London between 1824 and 1827. Dickens was forced to leave school again in 1827 when his family was evicted from their home in Somers Town for unpaid rent dues. Dickens learned shorthand and began his career as a journalist. He worked as a parliamentary reporter for 2 London newspapers. Around this time, he also fell in love with Maria Bednall, but her father objected to the match on grounds of Dickens' low social status. 2 years later, Dickens joined a newspaper, the Morning Chronicle, where he was asked to write a series of sketches about London life. This gave rise to the Sketches by Boz, his first literary experiment. Boz was Dickens' family name, which he adopted as a pseudonym. This was followed by his first novel, The Posthumous Papers of the Pickwick Club, in 1837. It was published in serial form in monthly installments. Dickens was the first person to make serialization of novels profitable and was able to expand his audience to include those who could not normally afford such literary works. Dickens married Catherine Hogarth, daughter of the editor of the Evening Chronicle, on 2nd April 1836. However, they did not achieve conjugal happiness and got separated many years later. Dickens' next novels, Oliver Twist and Nicholas Nickleby, established his fame as a novelist. Oliver Twist was a story of an orphan who endures a miserable existence in a workhouse. This novel was a response to the New Poor Laws of 1834. Dickens' most popular novels are David Copperfield, Hard Times, A Tale of Two Cities, and Great Expectations. He also wrote Christmas stories, the most known of which is A Christmas Carol. Dickens travelled abroad in the 1840s, first to America and then through Europe, where he also gave public readings from his works during the travels abroad. During the 1850s, Dickens suffered 2 devastating losses, the deaths of his daughter and father. He also separated from his wife during that decade. After this period, his writings became more serious and expressed a dark worldview. Dickens was working on his last novel, a mystery novel titled The Mystery of Edwin Drood, during the time of his death. This work remained unfinished as Dickens died of a stroke in 1870. Now, let's have a look at the major novels of Dickens. They are The Posthumous Papers of the Pickwick Club, The Adventures of Oliver Twist, The Life and Adventures of Nicholas Nickleby, The Old Curiosity Shop, Barnaby Rudge, A Tale of the Rights of 80, The Life and Adventures of Martin Chuzzlewit, Dombey and Son, David Copperfield, Bleak House, Hard Times for These Times, Little Dorrit, A Tale of Two Cities, Great Expectations, Our Mutual Friend, The Mystery of Edwin Drood, which remained unfinished. The famous Christmas books of Dickens are A Christmas Carol, The Chimes, The Cricket on the Hearth, The Battle of Life, The Haunted Man and the Ghost Bargain. Major short story collections of Dickens are Sketches by Boz, The Mudfog Papers, Reprinted Pieces, The Uncommercial Traveller. Now let's have a brief description of Dickens' novels. The first one is The Posthumous Papers of the Pickwick Club. This work was originally commissioned as a series of glorified captions for the work of caricaturist Robert Seymour. The central character of the novel is Samuel Pickwick, founder of the Pickwick Club. The novel details the adventures of Samuel Pickwick and his friends. Oliver Twist, subtitled The Parish Boy's Progress, is Dickens' second novel. It was first published serially in the Bentley's Miscellany. It is a rag-to-riches story of an orphan. Dickens presents the everyday existence of the lowest members of English society. He depicts the experiences of the workhouse and throws light on London's squalid streets, dark alehouses, and thieves' dens. The Old Curiosity Shop was originally published in Master Humphrey's Clock in serial form. It is centered on the 13-year-old Nell Trent and her grandfather, both of whom are residents of Old Curiosity Shop in London. The Old Curiosity Shop is an establishment where individuals go to purchase precious or antique gifts. Barnaby Rudge was also published in Master Humphrey's Clock. It is Dickens' first attempt at a historical novel and is based on the anti-Catholic protest against the Papist Act 1778. And it is also called the Gordon Riots after the head of the movement, Lord George Gordon. Dombey and Son is considered Dickens' first artistically mature work and narrates the story of Paul Dombey, powerful head of his shipping company, the House of Dombey. Paul desires a son who will continue his business. David Copperfield is the most autobiographical of Dickens' novels. Dickens himself attached a special place to this novel and wrote, "Like many fond parents, I have in my heart of hearts a favorite child, and his name is David Copperfield." The novel is a Bildungsroman which traces the life of David Copperfield from the time of his birth to his adulthood. The novel is set in early Victorian England against a backdrop of great social change. Out of Dickens' novels, Bleak House is the only one to contain a female narrator, Esther Summerson. This novel is Dickens' satire on the English legal system. The central lawsuit of Bleak House, Jarndyce and Jarndyce, has been held in chancery for years. Hard Times is set in Corktown, a northern industrial city. It portrays the exploitation and dehumanization of honest, hard-working factory workers who have been turned into hands. Through the characters of Thomas Gradgrind and Josiah Barnaby, Dickens critiques the lifeless utilitarian philosophies of the time. A Tale of Two Cities is set in London and Paris before and during the time of the French Revolution. It depicts the plight of the French peasants demoralized by the aristocratic class. The book is sympathetic to the overthrow of the French aristocracy, but highly critical of the reign of terror that followed. Great Expectations is a Bildungsroman that narrates the story of Pip, an orphan who lives with his sister and his sister-in-law, Jo. Pip's life takes a turn when he meets an escaped convict. From then on, Pip suddenly rises from a country labourer to a city gentleman. Now we are moving on to important characters in Dickens' novels. They are Artful Dodger in Oliver Twist, Abel Magwitch in Great Expectations, Bingley Drummle in Great Expectations, Blathers in Oliver Twist, Bumble in Oliver Twist, David Crimp in Martin Chuzzlewit, Edward Murdstone and David Copperfield, Jaggers in Great Expectations, Kit Nubbles and Old Curiosity Shop, Noddy Boffin and Our Mutual Friend, Quebec Bagnet and Bleak House, Rob the Grinder from Dombey and Son, Sleary in Hard Times, Sloppy in Our Mutual Friend, Stephen Blackpool in Hard Times, Thomas Gradgrind in Hard Times, Uriah Heep and David Copperfield, Harold Skimble and Bleak House, Mr. Wopsle in Great Expectations, Polly Toadle in Dombey and Son, Silas Wegg and Our Mutual Friend, Dick Swiveller in The Old Curiosity Shop, Mr. Sowerberry in Oliver Twist, Pumblechook and Great Expectations, Sophia or Sophie Wackles and The Old Curiosity Shop. These are the main characters in Dickens' novels.